that you, the bride and groom, are supposed to kiss. I don't know. Everybody clean their glasses.
Yes, the tapping of the glass means they have to kiss. Whenever you do that, you got power.
Oh, no, wait a minute. That's not enough.
That wasn't good. Make it good.
Now that's a good.
That's a good.
Okay, hey. You guys just stay.
Hey, we played Cards Against Humanity last night. You saw the card.
Yeah. All right, if you don't have anything to drink, if you don't have anything to drink, if you would please, I'll get something. I have a toast here, and so I'm going to try to keep this as concise as I can. But anyway, good evening. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is George, and I am Alyssa's dad. My wife Lene and I would like to thank you all for coming here this evening to help us celebrate the marriage of Allyssa and Justin. Now, when Allyssa asked me to give a toast here this evening, I could not have been happier and more excited. Yet the more I thought about it, the more difficult it got, because I was trying to figure out how I was going to put all my thoughts down and have it make sense. So I did what most everybody would do here today, and that is I went to the internet and Googled it. But of course, that didn't help me at all, because there were just too many examples. You know, did I want to make it casual and funny? Did I want to make it encouraging and supportive? Or I saw one that says formal and elevated, which I have no idea what elevated means. So, truth is, I did want to try to cover all that in the short amount of time that I had, but that was still going to be too hard for me to do, so I just thought, why not do what's best and have it come from the heart. So that's what I'm going to do here this evening. If you will please bear with me. So, I want to do that by sharing two stories initially. Allyssa, the day you were born, September 4th, 1993, which I do remember, was one of the happiest days of my life. I couldn't have been happier. I remember holding you and cradling you in my arms and not wanting to ever let you go. You were just the most beautiful and precious baby I had ever seen. You were my baby girl. I called you my treasure from God, and I was going to be the best dad that I could be to you. But the next day, when I went back to the hospital, I found your mom in the room crying, telling me that you had been taken away to neonatal intensive care, and you were in isolation, fighting for your life. And I thought, oh my God, I'm never going to get to hold my baby girl again. So I went to the chapel, and I prayed the hardest I've ever prayed. And I asked God to just, please, make you better and give you back to us so that I can hold you, my baby girl, once again. I wanted to watch you grow up. So seeing you here today, the most beautiful bride that I've ever seen, other than seeing your mom 38 years ago on our wedding day, it reminds me that my prayers are definitely answered, because I've got to watch you grow up and celebrate your wedding day with you. Now the second story here, it's kind of a funny one to me anyway, and Allyssa and I through the years have shared so many funny stories. I can't remember a time when we haven't laughed together. There is one in particular that I thought about, which is when we were up north, picking up our boat from the boat rental, but I don't think I can do that one justice. So I did think of another one though that would kind of solidify who Alyssa is, to me anyway. And it goes back to a time when Alyssa was 6 years old, and it was bedtime, Saturday night, and I don't know, probably around 6 o'clock at night, and Lene and I put her to bed, and then we went out to the living room to finish watching TV with Alyssa's older brother, who's 3 years older than she is. But a short while later, as we're watching TV, I hear this tap, 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 tapping, and I look back, and I see this pigtailed, cute little girl standing there with her arms crossed like this, tapping her foot, and got the meanest look I've ever seen. And she says, Dad, why does he get to stay up later than I do? And I said, because he's your older brother, so he gets later bedtime than you. Again, with your arms crossed, she still stood there like this and said, well, that's not fair. And I then tried to explain to her, he's older, this is why, and everything else. And then I started to realize, wait a minute, I am arguing with a 6-year-old girl. I'm arguing with my daughter, and I shouldn't have to. And I said, go to bed, get your butt to bed, that's it, end of discussion. So she turns around with stomps down the hall yelling, that's not fair, and slams the door behind her. And that's who Alyssa is today. So, what do these two stories have in common? Is that they describe attributes of Alyssa that I've always admired today. She's a strong-willed fighter who will always stand up for herself if she believes she's being treated unfairly, for the people she loves and people that she cares about. But what makes it even more special is that she will also do that for people she doesn't even know. She's a fighter and she stands up for them. So, Justin and Jace, what I say to you is that you will always have someone who will have your back and will always fight for you, no matter what. Now, Justin, I thought about what I wanted to say to you. and again, I think the only thing the story I could think to mention, and you've mentioned it a few times already here this weekend, was the first time I ever met this guy. And I have to set this up for you. Seeing our home with young kids and things like that, we've had these wooden gates. We had them for years, right? Had them for years. My wife did daycare. We had kids running around and out. Always had these wooden base gates. We had them at the top of our steps. Okay. And at the top of the steps is a spiral tiered case that had some decorative things on there that were sentimental to my wife, Lynette, including a pink ribbon ornament that a friend had made and given to her as a breast cancer survivor. So, as Justin comes up the steps, being Justin, he somehow, as the gate is at the top of the steps, he tries to step over the gate, he somehow manages to catch his foot, breaks the gate, smashes it all to hell, hits the spiral tier thing, knocks stuff all over the place, breaks my wife's precious ornament, sticks his hand out and says, hey, I'm Justin. I knew that you and Alyssa were made for each other. Now, one other thing I do want to mention here tonight that is very heartwarming to me. And that is watching you two raise our grandson, Jace. Linnea and I, and many of you out here tonight, know that parenthood is no easy task, and it's not for the faint of heart. But as long as the two of you take those challenges on together of parenthood, there's nothing that the two of you won't be able to handle. Well, listen, when I see that bond that you have with Jace, that bond of love, I'm filled with hope and pride. You've taken on the role and challenges of motherhood with grace and determination. And though tired and oftentimes not feeling well yourself, you will sacrifice your needs and put the needs of Jace ahead of yours. You're the definition of motherhood. And Justin, it warms my heart to see you as you continue to grow in your role as a father. While it can be said that the bond between a father and a daughter is forged in love and precious as diamonds, the bond between a father and son, also forged in love, is stronger than steel. So I say to you tonight, Justin and Jace, be like steel. Again, Justin, besides, or first of all, I'm sorry. Although today does mark the day that we officially welcome you to our family, you were part of our family from the very start. Besides accepting the role and responsibilities of fatherhood, you accepted the role as partner and caregiver, which also is no easy task. And you did that without batting an eye. That says a lot of who you are, and it's a testament to your character. And I couldn't be more proud to call your son. I used to tell Alyssa and Alexis not to find someone that made them happy, but to find happiness within themselves. Rather, I told them to find someone who would stick by them when things got hard, when life got difficult and grim, who stood by them at those times, because that would be someone then who would love you no matter what. And that love is evident here today between the two of you. So listen, Justin, as the two of you begin this new chapter in your life as husband and wife, remember this. And if you all have something, devote the same time and energy to your marriage as you do with your work and hobbies. On second thought, devote more energy to your marriage above all else. Spend time together. Spend time together with friends. But also spend time with you guys and just your friends and just your friends. And remember, when you do, spend that time with those who will build your marriage, not tear it down. Communicate when talking to each other. Do more listening than talking. As a Greek philosopher, Epictetus once said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. Love each other unconditionally and try to make the best of each day that you'll have together. And finally, remember the past and keep all that you can learn from it. Keep hold of the present and cherish all that you will share, and look to your future and all that the future has to hold for you. Congratulations.
Now that's a speech.
going to be really hard to follow.
You did that on purpose.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Thanks. I do moderately okay under pressure. So,
Oh, that's what you rolled 7.
alright. So I met this dude back when I was in 6th grade. He was in 7th grade, and he had just moved over to East Central, and I didn't have a whole ton of friends in middle school, and so I was sitting on the bus by myself playing Pokemon, and this kid sits down next to me and is like, "Oh, you're playing Pokemon, you want a lemon head?" And opens up a lunchbox and hands me a lemon head, and at that moment I knew this kid was alright. And years go by, and we spent literally hours, like days plus up playing video games, like literally spent 36 hours playing the entire Halo 2 campaign on Legendary one night. Well, day and night I should say. And I've seen this guy get worked up, get like absolute cheese face of amazement, probably twice in my life. The first one was the first time he ever played Skyrim. And the second time was today, when Allyssa came up and walked up to the balcony. I've never seen him so in awe in my life. And I can honestly say, like, you saved me, man. We were there for each other in middle school, and like high school, and then on. So I gotta say, like, it's nice to know that somebody else is there to save you when you need it. And I've always got your back, but she's gonna be your number one from now on.
Okay, for those of you who don't really know me, I'm Alexis, Alyssa's younger sister, and quite frankly, her only sister. Before I really get into too much, I do just want to say that I'm pretty honored to be here with everybody celebrating these two, and then I do just want to give a thank you to my parents because they're hosting this and everything like that, so they definitely deserve a big thank you, and probably like a round of applause. Okay, so over the past 24 years, we have shared countless laughs, cries, accomplishments, arguments, and adventures together. And throughout the whole, just like, time that we were at Mom and Dad's together and everything, you were always there to try and make sure that I was smiling, that I was happy. You would do anything you could to make sure that I was getting the best out of life, and nothing was ever going to get in my way. And so, one of the memories I like to think of is back when you were able to babysit me. And we would get so hyped because Mom and Dad let us alone in the house, and we would rummage through the cheese drawer to get all of the cheese sticks so we can make fresh, homemade mozzarella cheese sticks, because that's all we ever wanted. And then Mom would get home and she would of course yell at us for it. And then while we had our mozzarella sticks, we would get Polly Pockets out. And we would sit there with our Polly Pockets for probably about 2 hours or more, just separating the shoes, the purses, the dresses, the shirts, and all the accessories. And we would never ever play with them. God no, why would we do that? We would just sort them out. And she always dealt with it, and I knew she probably didn't want to half the time. I just really like to sort things, and I like to look at all the toys I had. But she not once ever complained that entire time because she knew that it was going to make her little sister happy. It was going to make me smile. I was going to have fun. And you just always want to make sure that's what I was getting out of my life. But then there were also the other times that you would babysit me, and you will lock me out in the snow after a shower when I just had on an oversized shirt. So there's that. I know, my kid loves me. I also remember our countless lunch dates. Both not during school hours, quite a lot during school hours, but we always had to curb our seafood and our Italian cravings. I swear to God, we've actually eaten Red Lobster out of crab legs. Like, they had to tell us that we couldn't order anymore because they had no more. But while we were there, we were always able to catch up and have our sister talks and just laugh and have the moments together without like mom and dad around or without any friends or anything. And so we were always able to connect during those times. And I will never, ever forget that because we were able to learn a lot about each other and bond on like, not just that sister level, but that little best friend level, if you know what I mean. Okay. So, since you were always someone that made sure that I was feeling special and loved and happy and well taken care of, now we enter Fish over here, and he's gonna be that person for you. You were always making sure I was happy, and so now you got someone who's gonna make sure you're happy, you're being treated special, you're always well taken care of, you're getting the best out of life. And it's all gonna be thanks to him now. So, well, I thank you for always making sure I was taken care of. It's now time that you're gonna be taken care of. It's gonna be okay. But with that, I do just want to give a little cheers to these two and finding their happiness to each other. So if you just want to raise a little drink up. Cheers to these two and finding happiness. And I hope it never stops growing and flourishing. And forever will you guys be in love with each other.
Great, thank you.
Those of you who don't know me, my name is Ryan. I am Fish's other best man. It's quite a good name, so we'll figure it out. So, Fish is probably the only friend I have who I can't tell you how I met. We have about 3 different options we can pick from. None of them really better than the other ones, to be honest with you. So, the easiest story I would say, Fish, is probably when we met through a mutual friend. And the easiest story is probably when we met through a mutual friend of ours, and I thought me and Fish were immediately friends, and went on for about 3 years. And I would tell everybody about this kid. Oh, he got me this great. Kind of was the voice of reason for a group of people who needed one at the time. We never listened to him anyways, but we needed it. And then found out about 3 years later he actually didn't like me. Most of the time. I think part of that though was we watched each other grow through a lot of weird times together. And you were always just a good rock, moral focus for me. And it really came in handy a lot for him. I hope I do the same for you throughout life. I am not going to be an easy person to budge, and I don't want to. And Fish is not the kind of person who will knock me off my feet if I need it. And I'm really happy you found somebody who's willing to take care of you in that way and tell you, hey, too far, you know, this is where we're at, let's have this conversation. It's something that I know I've always needed and I found in you, and it's something I'm happy you found in her. I love you, man. Congratulations, you too.
My name is Carrie, one of the bridesmaids. I have known Alyssa for about a decade now. We worked together at Texas Roadhouse for many years together. Congratulations. This has been such a long time coming. It's just hard to even express my feelings on this. Back when we first started hanging out at Bad Boys usually, after a long night at work, we'd console each other, give each other therapy. You were a little wilder back then. No, not at all. But I do remember about 2 years into our friendship, he said, I met somebody. And I said, excuse me? Just because of the look on your face, the way you said it. I said, what's his name? And he said, Justin. And there was just a look in your eye. I just knew it was going to happen back then. And when I got to meet you in person, after probably about close to a year of hearing about him before I actually got to meet you, I was like, he is the one for her. There's so much I want to say, but I just get nervous in front of crowds. But basically, I love you both. I feel that you brought me into this family almost. It's been such a journey between finding your perfect dress, the bachelorette party, which we'll save those stories. Maybe ask her about the drag show. I'll just leave it at that. But if everybody could raise their glasses, we'll do one more toast for Allyssa and Justin. Congratulations. I love you both, and I could not be happier.
Running away from me. For those of you who don't know me very well, I'm a very logical person. I move straight forward. But I don't work in the typical way that most logical thinkers work. I don't like writing notes. I never have in school. So I have devised this entire speech from scratch. I want you to know it's all right here, right now. What I wanted to talk about was family. Because obviously at a wedding, family is one of the most important things. And there are 3 very specific families, and I will introduce them in the order that I met them, that can attest to who I am as a person, I guess is the best way to put it. And this is, I should have said I addressed this to the Ramos family and the, what's your mom's maiden name? Bach. I could not remember that right now. No. But there are 3 very particular families that mean a lot to me, that can attest my ability to meld and mesh and fall into a family that isn't really your family. And the first ones I would like to address, because they were the first ones that I met, are Shannon and Angie Leopard. Please step up right now. Shannon and Angie Leopard, please stand up right now.
Don't be shy.
Oh, there they are! Okay. I don't know what it is they saw in me, but the story I want to say about this family is they'd seen me around. We would play hacky sack out in the church parking lot every day for hours and hours and hours, go wander around Makokata for hours and hours and hours through the night. But Ryan was graduating high school, and this is the first real time that I had ever met Ryan's family, his extended family, right? Jungle Juice was a problem. Angie Leopard had one rule that night, and that was, do not go in my living room that has white carpet. For those of you that don't understand the joke here, Jungle Juice is red. And I made a mess. It was a rough night. But these people to this day, though sometimes there are miscommunications here and there, not calling out anything in particular, but no matter what, even after that moment, and especially after that moment, I think they knew that I was a good influence on their son and that he was a good influence on me, because Ryan and I are very much alike. But they knew that we would help each other, and they kept us together, and they fed that friendship. Now, the next family that I would like to talk about is Sue and Brent Christensen. Please stand up. Sue and Brent, the story I want to talk about, and I don't know if you guys remember this or not, but to Sue and Brent, Kyle and I had been friends for a long while at this point, and they were going on a camping trip up to their parents' cabin up around the lake. That's the basic kind of premise. I'm getting a nod from Sue, so I'm on the right track. But we went camping up there, and I don't remember what it is exactly. Kyle's the one that remembers the product that I was complaining about because I had eaten all of them, and Sue was very upset about it. Do you remember that product? No, I don't. It was some candy, like a cake thing, and Sue got mad, very mad. He told me, he was like, dude, leave my mom alone right now. and that was kind of, you know, but Sue is just a sweet, caring woman that has always, no matter what, checked up on me. Even when she could tell I wasn't doing all right, she would just say, hey, Justin. And I went by Fish back then, so she was one of like 3 people at that time in my life that called me Justin, which was odd. But she would always just make sure she would make sure I was okay, no matter what. And Brent, you're just a rock. You don't let anything, and I've taken so much inspiration from you as a man, just because of, you roll with the tide. You don't let a whole heck of a lot bother you. And I took that to heart. And the last family I want to talk about is Rusty and Tiffany Beatty. Please stand up. For some very few people, I don't think know this about me here. Most of you should. I served 12 years in the Iowa National Guard, and the first 8 years were truly awful. Morale was very low. Retention was low. It was not a good place. And then 4 years ago, back in about end of 2019, early 2020, this rough man, though some people, and I know you know, have made fun of him about his little bit of a stutter, but I'm sorry, but F them, because this man he is what told, and this is where I bring it all around, he explained it perfectly. He taught me what it means in the military to be part of a greater family that never leaves you behind. They have helped us through hard financial times. They have helped us through a very rough Christmas, and made this little boy right here, made the smiles I got from this little boy because of you two. Getting to see their first grandchild get born. Getting to see how excited Rusty was to buy the little Tyke his very own car that looks just like his grandfather's. But to end this up, what I mean to bring all of these 3 families up and these specific stories about them is that they are the ones that taught me that family does not just mean blood. Family is much greater. We get to choose a portion of our family, and I want you to know that that means the world to me, to get to meet and get to join your family as the Ramos and Bach families. I want you to know that I mean it very seriously, that I understand how to mesh and meld, and know that I will take care of Allyssa, and I'm more than happy to be a part of your family.
Okay. Hi guys. If y'all haven't noticed, I am bride. I mean, granted, Ryan, last night, for the rehearsal, did have to step in for me for a little bit, and he did pretty well, although I don't know if he could pull off the right dress or not. He looks pretty good in the tux, if you can say. He did try to steal Justin though. He is right. And they have all been spooning each other currently in the room getting ready. Which I don't want to think about that later. But, anyhow, let's be honest, we are all tired of speeches, and we just want to party at this point. And I've had enough stress for this whole weekend, and so has Justin and everybody else. And I'm sure everybody else who has come in my path has all had the wrath of me throughout this whole process, and I'm sorry to everybody for that. And, like, truly, you guys don't deserve that, but let's get this fucking party started.
She's there.